Serving up a warm dish of the Triad's culinary fare, here's your weekly helping of food, news, and views. This is the man who ate the town.
Hey folks, and welcome to episode 151 of the Man Who Ate the Town podcast. This is for the week of April 27th through the May 3rd, 2020. My name is Tim Beeman.
And I'm Leah Metz.
And we are opening the recipe box, episode 151. So it's highly flammable and burns a blue flame like Bacardi 151, right?
Nice.
We are recording this episode of the Man Who Ate the Town in the Less Desirable Studios in the lab at Industry Hill. We are practicing social distancing and using Zoom, sponsored by Bull's Tavern. Really, the only thing restaurant-wise that I have on the list to talk about outside of WSStrong.com or themanwhoatetown.com is In Town Donuts announced that they are reopening tomorrow, Tuesday through Saturday, I think it is. Be closed Sundays and Mondays, but they are going to be back. They're going to do their thing again, which is good because you and I are on the Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
In a video.
There's some good looking donuts.
Oh yes,
right there.
The what's that? The maple bacon.
So the maple bacon's pretty good, but just the maple.
Yes, yes, yes.
I'm gonna go stand at the window tomorrow morning and just be like, open, I need a donut.
Well, wear gloves and a mask.
Yes. And then I'll probably have to bring some Windex to take my fingerprints back off the window. And say,
yeah. If it was before the COVID thing, you'd probably be licking the window, so we'd have to walk.
Right. Right. Yes. Exciting.
So we are without Ray today. We are he's not gone anywhere. He's just moving his daughter from her apartment in Greensboro. She goes to UNCG, and they are on lockdown and telling people to move. So that's what's happening. So can't wait to have you back, Ray. We will have a guest here in just a few minutes. We're going to talk with Algernon Cash, who is with Zesto Burgers and Ice Cream and Scrimp Shack, and we'll talk to him about the Food and Beverage Coalition, the Triad Food and Beverage Coalition. So,
woo! Excited to get to hear all the things that he's doing.
Well, let's do that right now.
All right.
So this is the Getting in Your Business section, and a little different this time. It's not per se a restaurant or establishment. This is actually a coalition that was spearheaded by my good friend Algernon Cash. This is it was originally going to be Winston-Salem Food and Beverage Coalition, but I think that it just got, the necessity of it got bigger than that. So it is now the Triad Food and Beverage Coalition. Algernon, welcome to the show.
Yeah, hey, what's going on, Tim? It's good to have you, man. I've for a very long time I've heard you talk about the show, and so I feel honored to be here. Yeah. And I think you're right. What we thought was going to be the Winston-Salem or Forsyth County Food and Beverage Coalition is the name I think you and I had bounced around.
Yeah,
as really more into the Triad Food and Beverage Coalition. And to be honest with you, it really wasn't at my triggering as much as it was at the triggering of some of our state elected officials, like Representative John Hardister, who's in the State House, a good friend of mine, who felt like some of the work that we were going to be doing for our food beverage community from an advocacy perspective was needed, not just at the Forsyth County level, but was going to be needed more at the regional level. And so we look forward to taking that challenge on.
So what is the actual mission of the Triad Food and Beverage Coalition?
Yeah, I think that's like changing and growing and evolving every moment of the day.
Oh yeah, as it should.
it started out being really a focus on just getting our restaurants organized and helping to leverage our restaurant owners more from a marketing perspective and generating sales and making sure that we know about certain events and conferences and festivals that are coming to town, and some of those things that are probably more related to the business development side of what we do. But I think as a result of COVID-19 and the pandemic that has ensued, we've now really shifted ground and more focused on advocacy and making sure the right kind of response at the federal, state, and local level is done. As it relates to the shutdown that's going on within our community, and then also making sure the right resources are also mobilized to our community as well.
So, what criteria do you have to become part of the coalition? And is there a long and arduous process to become a member?
No, right now, I would, if you asked me that question like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I probably would have a different answer. We had membership requirements and prices and
Oh, I
a
read
lot of
it.
formality associated with what we were trying to do. But I think now it's really more about just getting people that, whether you own a restaurant or a food truck or you're a caterer or you want to be a caterer or you want to own a restaurant or you want to be in our business. I think right now it's just about getting all those elements organized and advocating in the right direction. So the process is very flat, and if you want to be a part of what we're doing in the effort, all you have to do is contact me or get in touch with me or get in touch with Tim or Leah or some other folks that are connected to what we're doing. But there's not really a lot of hurdles for you to get involved. Now we do hope, because we are coordinating with the North Carolina Restaurant Lodging Association. We're working with the National Restaurant Association. We're also working with the National Independent Restaurant Coalition. So we do think at some point we do want to have more formality and um, membership fees and those kind of things will be implemented. But we see that happening probably 6, 8 months down the road.
Right, because right
So
now you're just trying to get the implementation and the cohesiveness and the actual, for lack of a better word, coalition in place to help those people who can eventually be paying members and to provide monetary value back to their businesses through the help of everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's just about getting everyone organized. That's the biggest mantra. And yeah, it does cost money to do some of the things that we've been doing, like creating a website and some of the time and the energy that myself and others have been putting behind it, and designing collateral. I mean, you do a show, so you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So there's a cost for everything. So we've been very fortunate up to this point that we've been able to bring in resources from other avenues. But at some point, yeah, we do need to become really more of a true revenue producing coalition. But right now, that's not the biggest focus. I think we're in the middle of a crisis, and the biggest
mhm.
focus is getting all of our restaurant, bars, caterers, food trucks organized, and then making sure that we're advocating for the right type of relief effort.
Right. Leah, did you have a question?
Yeah, so somebody like myself who's not, I'm not in the restaurant business, but I love to eat and love to support our local good eats and good drinks. Somebody like me is, can I be involved? And then where would I go to just check it out and as a supporter, go to just provide that support and say, hey, I'm out here. What can I do?
Yeah, I think to answer your question, there's a couple of ways to go at it. Can you be involved from a formal perspective? I think that part of it is what we're still trying to figure out, right? Like, what does that look like
Mhm.
at some later point? But yes, I think right now, given what's going on with the COVID-19 pandemic and the shutdown that we're experiencing, not just locally but statewide, we need everybody involved. Not just people that own restaurants, but people that also love restaurants and people that love great food and care so much about our industry. So yeah, we need everyone to be involved. And from a supportive perspective, I've had a lot of people ask, how can I donate money or how can I support what you're doing? There's
Mhm.
organizations like Love Out Loud that's doing a lot of tremendous work in terms of feeding people, and we're coordinating as a coalition with Love Out Loud. So, by supporting Love Out Loud or by supporting the coalition, you're certainly supporting the initiatives that we're behind. So yeah, I mean, and then some of it's not money, right? Like some people don't just have money to give, and they still want to be a part of it. But you can also get with Love Out Loud and volunteer your time. They're handing out meals like literally Monday through Friday every single day, and we've been coordinating with them to hand out meals on the weekends, and so we need people and bodies and hands to be able to do some of that work. So there's so many ways for you to get involved, and to be honest with you, Leah, I've actually been completely just taken aback by the generosity and the response from our community in terms of their willingness to give, not just in terms of their money, but also in terms of their time and their talent and some of those kind of things. So I tell you, in the last few weeks, I've really been proud to be a citizen of Winston Salem or resident of Winston Salem.
A camel citizen.
Yes.
So, Leah, is the Triad Food and Beverage Coalition on our WS Strong website?
I believe I put them up when it was first published, but I'm gonna go check and just make sure that I did.
Okay, because we need to make sure that's there.
Yeah, if
Um,
not, I'll get it up later today if it's not there. But I'm pretty sure I put it up
so,
on
Is
y'all.
this
Algernon,
a website that you all like started or
yeah, it's
Mhm.
called wsstrong.com.
okay?
And it is a community resource. The restaurant list that Leah and I put together, which we're now over 320 restaurants, I believe. Um,
Yep.
and that's all just Winston-Salem, Clemens, the immediate surrounding area.
Yeah.
But that's on there. The COVID-19 information, stuff for unemployment, other resources, just resources for the community, that they have one place that they can go, or try to be one place they can go to be a hub for all their information and resources. And I want to make sure this, because this is very dear to me. I feel like, I mean, I am definitely part of it, and I'm going to be part of it in a different way that we'll talk about it in another time. But um, I've been there really since the beginning when you started talking about that, or at least mostly towards the beginning. And I'm really, food is one of my passions. You can look at me and tell that. I eat a lot of it. So, but I definitely want to make sure that we have that as much as possible. But um, oh, I had another question. I'm sorry, it got away from me.
Well, you think about it. So yeah, I've got the link to y'all's page is on our page, on the small business assistance page.
And
So
our website is eatdrinktriad.com. And I think you can go to Eat Drink Triad on Facebook and find our Facebook page as well as our group page. We're also on Instagram. Probably a little less active on Instagram right now, but we're working on it. We're
yeah.
working on it.
Well, this is not what I was going to ask, but speaking of Instagram, I have to say that I'm a little bit jealous of the awesome food pictures you've had going on. Those were really, really good because I like to be your food photographer, but those are really good pictures.
Are you talking about the ones over at Zesto or?
Zesto and did for the Script Shack too, right?
Oh yeah, we I got to give a shout out to Cal Duncan, who did those photos for us, and Cal is actually planning to work with a lot of our coalition members to help them get some really good food shots going. And so what we're
Cool.
also trying to do is encourage our coalition members, and not just our coalition members, but restaurants in general that are listening to our message to really take this time to focus on your marketing, focus on how you get smarter and tighter, and how you present your message better, and what types of services you provide. Really use this time to try to get better as an organization, as a business, so that when you come out on the other side of this, that you're able to benefit from it.
Oh yeah, and we definitely advocate for that as well. Knowing that we go in every day and we see everybody's Facebook pages, and it's amazing to see that some folks aren't posting at all. But most of us are on Facebook all day long. And all it takes is for me to see a food picture and me go, "Oh, what am I having for lunch today? Oh, that looks like that." And I see that you're heading over and getting dinner. a bunch of nights, and I'm like, "Oh, what's he eating tonight? We need to go check out Young Cardinal. We gotta get over there."
I
So
love Young Cardinal.
Yeah, me
it
too.
looks good. It looks, yeah, it
Yeah.
looks. We've got to
But
try
no,
it.
you've gotta be focused on being top of mind for your customer.
Yep.
And I think that's constantly showcasing your food and reminding people that you're present and you're open and what's going on and staying in communication. And so many restaurants, there's so much going on inside of the restaurant too. So like when I say this, I get it, like because I'm inside the restaurant. I mean, you've got orders coming in, you've got customers you got to deal with, you got inventory, you got labor, you got payroll, you got all these things you're trying to do, that keeps you from focusing on like communicating and having that external communication that's so important. And so some kind of way you have to balance that.
Well, then that can segue into, Leah and my wife and I are, we're social media people and marketing people, and we are wanting, once things settle down a bit and people can have a conversation about money, because right now is not that time, but we want to help alleviate some of that problem. So let you worry about, not you, but as the restaurant person, let them worry about the stuff going on inside the restaurant and let someone else get their message out to them. So we want to be part, I know, of that. We've talked about that, and there are, how this works, Algernon, is with our list every Monday through Friday. Leah and I go on and we curate it to make sure that everything is up to date, the latest news, anything like that. So anything that I can put into a post, anything that I can put into a Facebook post on the Man Way to Town, I'll do that. But there are a couple places that don't even have their own Facebook pages. It's the unofficial pages, and people are posting stuff on there, some of them every day, and the restaurant's not really doing anything with it. And some
Yeah.
of them is maybe not good things, and the restaurant needs to address that, because this is the only face that a lot of the people who are on social media right now are seeing. And if it's something bad and it's not being addressed, then that's only hurting the businesses.
No, I agree. I think I think what has happened with businesses in the last, I don't know, call it 5 to 10 years to some degree, right? Because of social media and the social aspect of what we do and the connectedness and the engagement that we always have now, you being able to do this podcast and Facebook pages and groups and just a multitude of ways that we now have to be able to connect. I think businesses have a high expectation, quite frankly, from consumers to have a real soul, right? Like a real spirit. And so it's not just about the product that you serve or the food that you serve or what it is that you do day to day or the widget that you produce, but you also have to have a certain kind of spirit about you. And I think that's what people want to connect with when it comes to the brand. And so what is it that you do from a community perspective? How do you really make that product, right? Like what's the why and the what behind what you actually do? And so that's where Facebook and social media and all the kind of things that you just described come into play. And I think nowadays when businesses and brands don't engage with that particular medium, it really stands out to a consumer,
Yeah.
because now and now it's not just really it's not just a high expectation. It's just an expectation. Like a brand really has to have a spirit and a soul behind it. It can't just be a product or a service.
Right. And
Well,
even they could use, the ones who do post sometimes could use a little coaching in uh, relevance.
Grammar.
Yeah, grammar, yeah, and relevance. I mean, posting a picture of
Yeah.
somebody's just, getting a gumball out of a gumball machine in the vestibule. That's not, what does that have to do with your restaurant?
Yeah.
well,
Things like that.
well, and
or,
they
or the
want
real
the
or the real what I call the why behind the what, right? Like,
Yeah.
so this is what you do, but why do you do it?
Yeah.
yeah.
Or how do you do it? Or the reason that you do it that way, what's so significant or unique about that particular way that you do it? And so really trying to define that for your consumer so they really understand the meaning and the essence behind the brand.
Right.
Well, and I love the you're telling a story. You want to keep up with these folks, and I've made so many great relationships with folks that own restaurants, and so to see some of the posts from them just saying, "Hey, here's what we're doing," and we're hurting just as much as y'all, and whatever we can do, and we're all in this together. It's been great just to see the real side of everything, and
Yeah.
to know that it's not just a here's your food, go home. It's a no, there's a relationship here.
Well, there's a real humanizing effect, and I think
Yeah.
that if you look at the most successful restaurant brands, not just over the last several years, but over decades, quite frankly, even going back to at McDonald's when they took the world by storm in the 50s and 60s. There was a certain humanizing of the brand that always allowed people to feel like they were connected to the brand, and that connectedness and
Mhm.
that engagement also drove sales.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. My question a while ago was going to be how many, you may not know this, how many current members of the coalition are there?
It's really hard to it's hard to answer because we
It's
you
kind
know
of
we're
in a
not requiring
floating,
any membership applications, and we're not requiring any dues.
so we could
If
essentially say there's 300 and some because that's how
Yeah,
many.
it's
It's a
hundreds of them.
million.
But if I had to put a number on, if you ask me, well, how many people are actively participating in some of the programming events that we pull together, or the survey that we're circulating right now about the impact of COVID-19, or just some of the calls that we pull together, here and there. I'd say we probably got about 30, maybe 40 participants in the coalition right now.
That's not a bad number at all.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I mean we've had certainly a solid 30 that have completed our COVID-19 impact survey.
Yeah.
In fact, before I jumped on this call with you all, I was talking with Mark Owens over at the Winston-Salem Chamber, and we're going to allow the chamber and some others to have access to the data that we're pulling together right now. So again, we've had about 40 restaurants excuse me, about 30 restaurants that have responded to that COVID-19 impact study, and we think we'll have a lot more.
Well, again, what was the website that they can find?
Yeah, if they want to go to eatdrinktriad.com, that's our website. But you can also put Eat Drink Triad in on Facebook and find our group page as well as our actual Facebook page. So if you want to join the group, you can, where you can obviously post information, share information, or if you just want to follow the page to stay up to speed with events that we're doing, that's fine. And we also are on Instagram at Eat Drink Triad as well.
And to be clear, again, that's not the place to go ask which has the best hot dogs in town,
Yeah,
or who's serving
but
tacos this week.
we certainly don't mind people highlighting some of the places they went around town, like in terms of food. So we do want it to be a place where if you're not an owner and you're just, hey, I'm just a foodie and a consumer,
Yeah.
and I want to showcase a great restaurant, or I want to highlight a great owner who's doing a great job in the community. We do want to be a place for that. But we're also wanting to be a place for a real substantive dialogue, right? Like we really want to have great conversations about food, great conversations about our food and beverage community.
Yeah.
And we don't want it to be so shallow of who has the best hot dog in the city, even though we know that's Zesto.
Yes.
We don't want you to come to the group and ask that question.
Right. And the thing is what gets me about this, because there's plenty of and those are great groups. We're both part of a lot
Yeah.
of those.
And I respect the people that run those groups.
Absolutely.
Yes.
They're friends. And I get that. But at the same time, the people who are posting need to read. Just 3 posts down generally will be the same exact question. And that's what gets me is people aren't reading. They'll put something on there for just them to know. And whenever somebody replies and they get their answer, which is generally the same stuff that was answered 3 posts before.
Yeah.
So,
well, and they're such what I would call subjective questions.
Yeah.
That it's really hard to trust the responses. Like, and I jokingly say Zesto, but even if you say Zesto, right? Like that's a subjective answer.
Of course.
And so I don't know. I always have I always cringe when I see those posts where they ask those questions.
Well, one time, I did last summer that summer of burgers,
Yeah.
and Zesto was number 2 on my list. And
Thank you.
and you're welcome. And someone sent me a message, which we talked about on the show. I think this list is biased. I'm like, it's very biased. Thank you for noticing. It's my list. It wasn't a public, everybody vote on this. This was what I thought. And I said that up from the beginning. This is my list. This is how I felt. This is my experiences. And as always, with everything that I review, I hope that the people go try it for themselves and don't just take my word for it. I hope to be a guide, at least into informing people that something might be there that they didn't know was there. That was the main point of that.
And we had several people stop by Zesto as a result of that list because they did want to try, our burger. And I'm certain some of the other restaurants that you highlighted on the list saw the same experience. But yeah, I mean that I have no issue with. It's like, if this is your list and it's biased and it's subjective, then that's great. But I think sometimes in these groups, when you ask those questions, the responses that you're getting,
people
it's
get
not
defensive
objective at all.
Now, they get defensive too, and usually not the people.
Yeah. If they don't see their favorite group, their name on there,
yeah, you're crazy. That place is awful. This and that. So while we're on it, let's talk a second about Zesto. Before even this Food and Beverage Coalition came along, I wanted to have you come on and talk about Zesto because I think it's a jewel in the rough that needs even more highlighting and talked about more. It wasn't number 1 on my burger list, and the reason that was just because there are 2 reasons. 1, I didn't want to look like it was biased. And 2, I really had a great experience at Boondoggies, which was number 1.
Yeah.
However,
they have good food.
Yeah. However, I will say it till the cows come home, I guess pun intended. My favorite burger in town is the Chubby Decker. And that is, to me, the most tasty burger in Winston-Salem.
And now I've upgraded the beef, so
yeah. Oh yeah, I've and today I'm going to continue the tradition I have for the last 4 weeks. When we get off of here, I'm going to come visit Zesto today to have my Chubby Decker fix for the week.
Well, when I get done here, that's where I'm going to. I'm over at Strip Shack right now, so I'm going to get a burger when I get done here.
Yes.
But we've upgraded the beef, so I'm very proud of the Chubby Decker. But there are a lot of great places that have good burgers. I think Boondoggies has a great burger, and I learned about that place through Winston-Salem Eats, which is a Facebook group you and I both follow. I didn't even know about them until that group, and so I had a chance to go out and try their food. I think Nick's down in Davidson County does a great job. He has a great burger. But I do think it's
is that the one next to Hungry Howie's down there?
I've not been to Hungry Howie's.
No, but I mean it's down there next to that, where just inside the Davidson County line.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about Nick's. Down right near North Davidson High School.
Oh, okay. Yeah, different place.
Yeah, and again, it's right inside the Davidson County line, but they've got I think they've got one of the best burgers in the region. I think Big Burger Spot in Greensboro and now over in Kernersville, I think they got a really good burger. But I do think Zesto, I think we got a good burger. We provide a good quality blend of beef at a good price, and we use a really really high quality bread, as you know.
Oh yes.
And real high quality toppings, and it's a great burger for a really good price.
I totally agree. Leah, have you had the Chubby Decker from Zesto?
I have not. I'm more wanting. I think I saw a post about a soft serve ice cream cone.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like,
and we make that fresh like every day. We have a proprietary blend of milk that comes in, and we literally make that ice cream fresh every day.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll probably come to get the ice cream cone more than the burger, but have at the burger.
and it is one of the better hot dogs in town too, I have to say.
Cool.
I'm not saying that because Algernon's my friend. I'm not saying that because I eat there once a week at least. During this pandemic, it's once a week. Before the pandemic, it was sometimes 4 times a week. I'm just not over here that often, but Yeah, Zesto is awesome. It's what, 2600 New Walkertown Road, right?
Yep, that's right. 2600 New Walkertown Road. You can call your order in. You can order online. We obviously work with some of the delivery partners in town, like Grubhub and Takeout Central. We're not on DoorDash or Uber Eats, not currently, but Grubhub and Takeout Central. So you can pick up at the window if you call ahead or you order online. Lot of great ways you can get the food if you want to take advantage. 336-793-5548. You can call ahead.
And what I know you're sitting there right now, let's talk about Scrimp Shack since you're sitting there, and that's something that you've gotten behind in the last little bit. So I have had a chance to have a tasting there with you as well. And I tell you
We need
what,
to do that again. When all this mess passes,
yeah,
we need to put together a bigger tasting like we did over at Zesto that day, and get you and Nikki and some of the other cohorts
Yeah.
out to try what we're doing. But it's basically a fast casual seafood concept.
yeah,
We've got really good fish sandwiches, really good baskets, dinners. The shrimp is amazing. I'll be honest with you, I'm not really, and this is going to sound crazy, I'm not a big seafood fan, but I love shrimp, and I think our grilled shrimp tacos, our grilled shrimp po' boys
Yeah.
are amazing. And we've got a family meal that we do right now where you can either get a pound of, you automatically get a pound of chicken, but then you can get a pound of whiting or a pound of catfish with macaroni and cheese and French fries and a gallon of sweet tea. It literally feeds like 8 to 10 people for like $40.
Nice.
So that's something that we've been doing a lot of lately.
The shrimp po' boy, that was, that's one of my favorite. The po' boy sauce is fantastic there. I like that a lot. Yeah, and speaking of the thing that we did at Zesto's, Ray said to tell you hello. He would normally be on here with us, but he had to move his daughter out of her apartment at UNCG today, or face fines and stuff. So he had to miss it. He really hated it because he was looking forward to seeing and talking to you. But
I thought we were missing somebody, but I wasn't sure. Okay.
Yeah. He would normally be here. He called me Friday, said, I hate to say this, man, because I really wanted to talk to Algernon, but he had to go. But I said, yeah, I don't blame you. If there was a chance of, fines and stuff like that, then absolutely take care of it. And I want to say, because you know him, you've met him at least, I want to say congratulations to my son. He was informed that he's out of school now. He's done. He graduated. He hasn't done the ceremony yet, but they said if you're a senior, they called him and said, you've gotten all your credits and you don't have to show up anymore unless you just want to. And he's like, okay, see ya.
No, that's good. That's really good.
Anything else you want our listeners to know, Algernon? Anything you have to push or promote, or just anything you have to say? This is your time.
Well, no, I would say that anyone that's online, you certainly can find me I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. Algernon Cash. So I would love to connect with anyone who has questions or wants to learn more about anything we're doing at Zesto or Scrimp Shack, but more importantly, anything we're doing at our Triad Food and Beverage Coalition, which is where I'm spending a lot of energy right now. And so again, eatdrinktriad.com is the website. We've got some really great programming going on tomorrow. We've got U.S. Congressman Ted Budd, who's going to do a town hall later this week. We've got Janae Adams coming in to talk about personal finance one-on-one, trying to work with our service industry and hospitality workers to make sure that as they get those unemployment checks, those stimulus checks, that they stay on track with their personal finances. A big announcement, Tim. I'm actually in conversation with Ashley Christensen, who's a James Beard Award winner out of Durham. Has a lot of James Beard Award recognized restaurants, and we're going to be bringing in Ashley to do a program with our restaurant owners and so forth. So we're just trying to work really aggressively to get our restaurant and bar community organized, advocate on behalf of our community, at the same time provide them with critical programming that can help them continue to navigate through what's going on with this current pandemic.
Awesome. Well, Algernon, as always, it's fantastic to see you, and I'll actually get to see you a little bit later today when we record the
Yeah.
less desirables. And so we'll probably ask a lot of the same questions because it's a different audience, different things going on. But I really appreciate you being here, and I look forward to my Chubby Decker here in about an hour.
Thank y'all for having me, and thank y'all for all you're doing for our community.
Thank you very much, sir, and thanks for being here again. Thank you again to Algernon Cash. Make sure you go see him at Zesto and at Shrimp Shack, and follow the eatdrinktriad.com on Facebook, Instagram, and on the website to find out more about the food and beverage industry around town. Let's do some food holidays now. Today is the 27th of April. It's National Prime Rib Day.
Ooh.
I love prime rib. It's one of my favorite cuts of meat, and prepared, I like mine rare. I like even my steak rare, but if the prime rib needs to be rare with really good horseradish sauce. Yeah. On the 27th in 1773, the British Parliament passed the Tea Act, one of the events that led to the American Revolution. In 1865, Cornell University was chartered. Cornell is an agricultural land grant university endowed by Ezra Cornell, one of the founders of Western Union Telegraph Company. Today, Cornell University in Ithaca, New York offers many programs, including agricultural and life sciences, hotel administration, and nutritional sciences. Here's a little bit of trivia for you. Cornell is the only school in the Ivy League system that was founded after the Revolutionary War. Harvard was the first in 1636, followed by Yale, Penn, Princeton, Columbia, Brown, and Dartmouth, all before 1776.
Wow.
Yeah, those are old schools. I have stood on the grounds of Harvard.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. When Stephanie and I went to Boston 2 years ago, we went up to Cambridge and walked into onto the campus. And oddly enough, anybody could.
Just act like you own the place.
Yeah.
Just carry on.
Yeah, it was really cool. In 1871, on the 27th, the American Museum of Natural History in New York City was open to the public. I want to know if there's a museum of unnatural history.
I don't think I want to be going into that museum. It would have to come with a warning and some one of those forms, disclosure forms, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And
yes, and enter at your own risk signs.
Yep.
1965, on the 27th, R.C. Duncan was granted a patent for Pampers disposable diapers, which truly aren't all of them truly disposable. You just throw the cloth ones in the trash. Look, you disposed of them.
so I was going to say, it depends on what your definition of disposable is.
Yeah. On the 28th, it's National Blueberry Pie Day.
Oh.
Yeah, my thing is I like blueberry things. I don't necessarily like blueberries themselves. I don't dislike them. I just not something I go for. I'd rather have other berries beside blue ones.
The blueberry ones, I like them if they're really, really cold.
Yeah.
But then also there's a great blueberry beer. The best blueberry beer in life is at Flyway Brewing in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Okay.
And I have some in my fridge that I ration until we go visit the in-laws. But it's like they freshly squeezed a million little blueberries into a can. It's deliciousness.
Well, Hoots Beer here does the Q-berry, which is cucumber and blueberry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that one.
Cucumber's too healthy for me. That's just,
I like cucumbers. I like them. I like raw pickles and I like pickles. 1789 on the 28th, the most famous mutiny in history took place on the English ship the Bounty against Captain William Bligh. The ship was returning from Tahiti to bring back breadfruit trees. The people really just wanted to stay there in Tahiti.
Yeah.
In 1796 on the 28th, American Cookery by Amelia Simmons is published in Hartford. It is the first cookbook written by an American. In 1953, on the 28th, Howard C. Rawson was issued a patent for an overcoat built for two. It
Why?
was for Siamese twins, but it seems like, why do you need a patent for that?
Yeah.
the,
Somebody
the,
gonna come steal that
yeah,
and
the market
reproduce it?
for overcoats for Siamese twins is through the roof. I guess. I don't know. In 1992, the USDA unveiled its new food pyramid diet guideline chart. I think it's a pyramid scheme.
Mm.
On the on the 28th in 2005, the loaded burrito scare happened in Clovis, New Mexico. Police were called to a middle school when someone saw what appeared to be a weapon being carried by a student. Police did not find any weapon, but finally an 8th grader realized that what someone had seen was his extra credit commercial advertising project, a 30-inch long steak burrito wrapped in tinfoil and a t-shirt.
What a combination to be
Yeah.
carrying around in your bag.
Yeah. Is this what you're looking for?
And 30 inches?
Yeah.
Whoa.
30-inch. I mean, that's that long burrito.
I mean, that's over what, 2 feet?
That is. There's nearly 3. That's
How many
2.5 feet.
how many tortillas did they use to make that?
I don't know. That's crazy.
We might have to investigate
I
this
know. I kind of want to know. On the 29th of April, it is National I'm about to say scrimp because we were talking to Algernon earlier. Shrimp Scampi Day.
Oh.
In 1856, a shipment of 33 camels arrived at the Texas port of Indianola. They had been purchased on the North African coast for the U.S. Army to use in the deserts of the Southwest.
Okay.
In 1913, the zipper was patented by Gideon Sunback. And now, oddly enough, I would say 85% of the world's zippers is what made at YKK in Japan.
Well, and it's fun now. I had a zipper break on a gray vest,
Mhm.
and I was able to put a purple zipper on it, which was exciting because, since when do zippers come in all different colors? It's just this, woo! It's so awesome.
And it's such a taken for granted thing now, but really, it's ingenious how zippers work. I mean, it's very, very simple, but it's still
Hmm.
ingenious.
Well, and you
That's
just wonder, how did somebody figure that out?
yeah.
Like,
That's
what
always
were
my
they
thing.
trying to do? And then they were like, oh, a zipper.
Yeah, Stephanie and I were talking about this weekend about food actually, but I was watching someone make meringue. I'm like, who thought up that you just whip the shit out of egg whites and add sugar and it becomes meringue?
Right.
And that's the thing with a lot of like food, especially. Like, who thought
Hmm.
to cook meat before eating it? And who thought to fry that egg instead of, or that you could even eat it? Or
Right.
I don't know.
And It's
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 like
crazy.
gymnastics or diving. It's not that the people do these tricks and these flips and the dives and stuff that impress me. It's that they tried it the first time.
Well, and like, what are we gonna invent? for the
Um,
first time, right?
yeah,
Because there's plenty of things that still aren't discovered.
that's true.
Um,
When
but
you
how am
just
I gonna?
when you discover what we're going to discover, let me know.
Okay, you'll be the first to know.
Okay. On 4:30, it is Oatmeal Cookie Day and National Raisin Day. Yet no word on whether it is National Oatmeal Raisin Cookie Day.
That seems just too obvious, I guess.
Yeah, I don't get it. 1803 on the 30th, the Louisiana Purchase Treaty was signed in Paris. The formal transfer of ownership from France to the United States took place on March of the next year. Speaking of Louisiana, 1904, that was 1 year and 1 day to the 100 years, sorry. 100 years and a day from, or year from the day. The Louisiana Purchase Exposition opened in St. Louis, the St. Louis World's Fair. It was at the fair the ice cream cone was supposed to have been invented. The hot dog and iced tea were also popularized at this fair. On the 30th in 1952, Mr. Potato Head is introduced to the world. Mr. Potato Head is also the first toy to be advertised on network television.
And there again, another genius. Let's decorate a potato and sell the pieces and parts for children today. And you can get they have miniature ones now that you can get as well.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. There is something else on the 30th. I'll come back to it in a minute because it's relative. On the 1st of May, it is May Day, which is an ancient holiday. I don't really know what that is, but it's there. It's also Mother Goose Day and National Chocolate Parfait Day.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ray would like that.
Mm-hmm.
On the 1st in 1683, supposedly a patent for a system of extracting salt from seawater was granted in England. So I know that there's a company, there's several probably, but one that is serviced locally here called Sea Love Sea Salt Company. And what they say they do, I don't know if they really do, but it's 2 or 3 ladies that go out and actually extract salt from the sea. They harvest it from there while drinking margaritas. At least
those are some smart ladies right there.
Yeah, at least that's the story that Travis Myers tells me. So I don't know if it's true or not, but they do go out and harvest the salt from the ocean. But
and then the margaritas are considered office supplies.
I guess so. It's cost of doing business.
That's brilliant as well.
Brilliant. On the 1st in 1759, Josiah Wedgwood founded the Wedgwood pottery that transformed the rough pottery of the time into the smooth, durable crockery we know today. In 1841, on the 1st, the 2 John B's, John Bartleson and John Bidwell, led the first wagon train to California, leaving from Independence, Missouri, with 69 adults and several children. They arrived in California on November 4th, 1841. No mention on how many they lost on the way.
I guess that's probably a good thing that they didn't mention that.
Yeah.
You might never make the trip if you knew.
Yeah. So we're just going, we'll be all right.
We'll be all right.
Yeah. In 1886, Angelo Del Monte and Papa Marionette opened Ristorante Fior d'Italia, America's oldest Italian restaurant in the heart of San Francisco's North Beach. The restaurant is now located at 2237 Mason Street in San Francisco. It's still open.
Oh.
So, and that's 100 and many years. I can't do math. So, in 1890...
Hopefully they've renovated a couple times.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like I said, I think they moved, but it's still the oldest restaurant. It's just different location. But Yeah, I hope so too. That's a long time for that same stale wallpaper. In 1899, in Germany, Bayer introduced aspirin in powder form. So, contrary
Hmm.
to popular belief around here, BC Powder was not the first to do that. Um, wonk, wonk, wonk. 1924, and the first iodized table salt in the United States went on sale in or at grocers in Michigan. Adequate intake of iodine helps prevent goiter, which is swelling of the thyroid gland.
Hmm.
Um, in 1927, on the 1st, Imperial Airways became the first British airline to serve hot meals. In 1931, on the 1st of May, Empire State Building opens. It was built on the site of the original Waldorf Astoria Hotel.
Okay.
In 1941, General Mills introduced Cheery Oats. The name was changed to Cheerios in 1945. In
It probably
1982, go ahead.
it probably sold better as Cheerios instead of Cheerios.
Yeah, Cheerios sounds British. Cheerio. In,
Cheerios.
in 1982, on the 1st, a record setting 8,000 foot banana split was created in Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania.
Why?
I don't know. Let's
And
fa-
how many bananas and how many scoops of ice cream was that?
I don't
Discuss.
know, but in what I skipped on the 30th that I was coming back to in 1988, Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania created a new record setting
Oh,
4.55 mile long banana split. 33,000 bananas, 2,500 gallons of ice cream, 600 pounds of chopped nuts, and 450 gallons of toppings.
good lord!
Yeah, that's a huge bitch.
And
in
I hope they ate it instead of letting it melt.
Yeah, and all the flies and all that stuff, Ugh. Birds pooping on it. Let's see. In
Oh,
2001, on the first, Hindus in Seattle filed suit against McDonald's restaurant chain for not disclosing the use of beef flavoring in its French fries.
oh,
In 2005, on the first, a 9 foot, 640-pound freshwater catfish was caught by fishermen in northern Thailand on the Mekong River. According to many, this is the largest freshwater fish ever caught.
whoa!
Speaking of fish, not necessarily freshwater, but on 5/2, World Tuna Day. I like it.
Hmm. Okay.
And it's also National Truffles Day. No, not the little chocolate morsel goodies, but the actual
The,
fungus
the
that,
fungus among us.
yeah, that can sell for anywhere from $600 to $1,200 a pound.
Hmm.
It's highly sought after. They use animals to hunt it down, but it grows underground, so they have to really sniff it out. On the 2nd of May in 1670, King Charles II of England granted a permanent charter to the Hudson's Bay Company, which gave the company a trading monopoly and effective control over a vast region surrounding North America's Hudson Bay. Crazy
Hmm.
King Charles. In 1854, on the 2nd, Hugh Rock of Boston received the first U.S. design patent for a hairbrush.
Oh,
In 1878, at 7 a.m., the Washburn A flour mill in Minneapolis exploded, sending the roof 500 feet in the air. 18 workers were killed and 7 other flour mills were destroyed.
whoa!
Also in 1878, the U.S. stopped minting the 20-cent coin. There is no evidence that those two events are related.
Huh?
I didn't know that there was a such thing as a 20-cent coin. I would like to know what it looked like.
Yeah.
In
To have a
18, go ahead.
Did it have a bag of flour stamped on it or something? Is
I
that
don't know. Maybe that's where the wheat penny came from.
maybe?
In 1880, the SS Columbia became the first U.S. steamboat to successfully employ electric lighting installed in its passenger rooms and main salons. In 1885, on the 2nd, Good Housekeeping magazine begins publication. Founded by Clark W. Bryan, the magazine was purchased by Hearst Publishing in 1911. So that's pretty good. It was only, what, 15, 25, 20, no. It was less than 20 years old. Just over
That
20
got
years old.
sold.
Just over 20 years old, and it got sold, yeah. In
Wow.
1969, on the 2nd, which I thought this was older, but it's okay, the Queen Elizabeth II, the QE2, British luxury ocean liner, left on her maiden voyage to New York.
Mhm.
For the listeners who may not know this, and I don't know if you know this, Leah, I used to be a travel agent.
Oh,
And the QE2, owned by the Cunard Line, is a very popular ship for the transatlantic sailing.
Oh.
On the 3rd of May, it's National Raspberry Popover Day.
ooh.
And I don't know what the difference between a popover, turnover, or pastry,
Any of those?
any of that stuff is. I think I
But
looked it up once before, but I'm lazy right now. It's also National Chocolate Custard Day. Again, Ray would be in heaven for that.
Yeah.
I know he likes custard and chocolate, so it'd probably be well for him there. On 1494, on the 3rd, Christopher Columbus sighted the island of Jamaica. How he knew it was Jamaica, I don't know.
Oh no.
In 1654, a bridge in Raleigh, Massachusetts began charging a toll for animals. People, though, pass for free. In
Did they
18...
make a lot of money off of that?
I don't know. And
And who
why?
paid for the animals? Like, we're
Yeah.
talking like,
Yeah.
hey dear, give me a quarter.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't go across the bridge.
That'll be 15 cents. No, 15 cents.
Here's a piece of wool for you, buddy.
Yeah. Put it on my tab.
No, that would be a duck. Put it on my bill.
In 1831, William Manning of Plainfield, New Jersey, received a patent for a reaper for harvesting hay and grain. It was designed by his wife, Anne Harned Manning. In 1921, my home state of West Virginia became the first state to enact a state sales tax. It became effective on July 1st of that year. On the
So now
3rd, I'm sorry.
we can blame y'all for all state taxes everywhere.
You can blame us for a lot of things. We probably deserve it. In 1929, on the 3rd, the original Waldorf Astoria Hotel was closed and soon demolished. As I mentioned earlier, it had been sold to make way for construction of the Empire State Building. In 1944, most wartime meat rationed ended in the United States. That was, I guess, the end of the war, right?
Probably.
In 44 or 44, 45, something like that.
Somewhere
In
in there.
1947, Sylvester tried to have Tweety Bird for lunch for the first time in a Warner Brothers cartoon. Suffering succotash. In 2007, on the 3rd, Jameson Stone, who was 11 years old, bagged a wild hog that weighed over 1,000 pounds. He was hunting on a commercial hunting preserve with his father and several guides in eastern Alabama. The animal measured 9 feet 4 inches long, nose to tail. Them's good eats, I'm sure. Yeah. And that's your food holidays and history for this week. Special thanks to James Ehler at foodreference.com for making us chuckle, roll our eyes, and learn about Ivy League colleges and Empire State Building and
Sundays.
and Sundays and
Banana
banana
splits.
splits. Yeah. The Man Who Ate the Town podcast is part of the Less Desirables podcast network. Along with his podcast, you can listen to Less Desirables, The Beer Dads, Fan Interference, Apartment 5B, Beeswax, Vinyl, and more. Sipping NC, once this is over, I hope. And Wheeler's Dog, now doing 2 days a week. You can find all these podcasts and their latest episodes on our network website and directory, tldpodnetwork.com. You'll also find social media links for each right there as well, tldpodnetwork.com. We greatly appreciate if you visit our sponsors, Carrabba's Italian Grill, located at 587 South Stratford Road. Let Daniel demonstrate what a responsible large-scale family of restaurants looks like. Carrabba's takes the community it serves very seriously, and having a fantastic franchisee like Daniel certainly does not suck. Only thing you have to do is watch his social media, Carrabba's social media, or just look at a lot of places online, because they'll tell you that Daniel did good things for them. So follow Carrabba's on social media and on carrabbas.com. Washington Perk and Provision Company. The Perk is located at 301 West 4th Street. You'll find a little bit of everything in the Perk: local fruits and veggies, meat and dairy from local sources, Bingo Bango sodas made right here in Winston-Salem, Wolfie's Custard right here in Winston-Salem. Actually, Washington Perk owns Wolfie's Custard, so there you go. And much more than that. They have a deli in the back that you can get your sandwiches and go, even during this pandemic time. They are an essential business. Go visit them. They are better than a convenience store, not quite a grocery store. On Facebook, they are Washington Perk. And on Instagram, at Washington Perk _DTWS. Leah, what's happening with Humblebee? Is she and Dana Moody combining forces for good right now?
Yeah, they are putting out that you can order online between either of them. And they are, instead of just doing a weekend delivery, they're going to do a pickup that you can go pick up. I think it's Tuesday or Wednesday over at West End Coffee House.
Yeah.
You can go pick up from there. So they are collaborating and killing it, man. They are making some dessert like crazy, and it all looks delicious.
Yep. So I would say for right now, go to Instagram, look up what they're doing, because they are posting a lot of stuff. The Humblebee Shop and West End Coffee House wants to challenge your perception of Scratch Made and leave you with an experience you couldn't possibly forget. For more information, follow them on Facebook and Instagram, or visit, I don't know West End Coffee House's website, but it's the humblebeeshopapa.co. That's SHOPPE.co. Keep an eye on my blog. Go ahead.
Well, I would say just West End Coffee House. Go to their Facebook page, and they've got all kinds of good information there.
Yeah, it's always a good idea. Keep an eye on my blog and this podcast to find out more about the food news and happenings around town. If you have any food news, send us an email at tim@themanowaittotown.com or learmetz@gmail.com. On Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Instant Messengers, just The Man Who Ate the Town. Like us on Facebook. On Twitter, we are Man Who ate the Town. On Instagram, we are Man Who Ate the Town. And now we invite you to call and leave a voicemail for the podcast or any podcast on the TLD network. You can call 336-422-6862. That's right, 336-422-NUM. Leave a voicemail and we'll play it on the podcast. Again, it's 336-422-NUM or 6862. This is a reminder to all the listeners, and it's just good practice, not just for now, but for always. Wash your damn hands. Wash with warm water and soap. Doesn't have to be antibacterial soap, just soap. Real soap. Sing Happy Birthday while you're doing it, or one of your other favorite songs. Sing My Milkshake Brings the Boys to the Yard. Something.
These boots are made for walking.
That's right. This soap is made for washing. All right, so my name is Tim.
And I'm Leah.
And we are closing the recipe box. Until next time, thank you for reading. Thank you for listening. Bon appetit. Yamas. The views and opinions stated by me or any of my guests are solely those of ours and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of our hosting companies, distributors, enemies, friends, or relatives. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced or distributed without express written consent of the man who ate the town, that's me, and Such Limited Inc. However, if you ask nicely, we'll probably let you.